Car prices remain high, and many consumers want to know how to buy an inexpensive car. Today, we're looking at the pros and cons of buying a salvage titled car and rebuilding it. I'll also talk about whether or not it's worth buying a car at a car auction. And stick around to the end where I share a few practical tips to help you find the best deal. By the way, a lot of time and research was done to put together this video, and I really want to know what you think. So while you're watching this video, please comment below and share your thoughts. A salvage title is given to vehicles that have been totaled in an accident, flood, natural disaster, or other event. It's basically just a legal document that's issued by a state Department of Motor Vehicles or similar agency after an insurance company has decided that the car is a total write-off loss. The rules around salvage titles depend on the state in which you live. Once a car is considered a total loss, it can either be sold off for parts or sold at a car auction as a salvage title vehicle. In most states, salvage title cars are illegal to drive on the road. If you want to make it roadworthy, you'll need to get all necessary repairs to meet regulations and pass safety inspections. The extent of this inspection can also vary from state to state. Some people will tell you that a rebuilt title and a salvage car title are the same, but it's not true. If a vehicle has a rebuilt title, it means that it was restored to a drivable condition. Because of this, cars with a rebuilt title can qualify for car insurance. It depends on the insurer. Many insurance companies don't want to come near a rebuilt car. It won't be easy to get the car insured, but it is possible. That is not the case with a salvage title. It's impossible to get car insurance with a salvage title. It's as simple as that. Reason is, an insurance company already gave up on that car a long time ago when it marked the car as a salvaged car. Most states consider any car that requires 75% or more of its cash value in repairs to be a salvage title vehicle. It's as simple as that. Insurance providers are also more likely to declare older cars as salvage vehicles. That's because if the car's value is already low to begin with, for example, due to depreciation and so forth, then the cost of repairs is less likely to be worth it. Your car can also become salvaged if it's stolen and later recovered. Chances are, car thieves will not be kind to your car when they drive it around. They may steal some of the car parts, for example. In many cases, the cost to replace all missing parts may not be worth the bother. Insurance companies also write off cars that have been missing for a long time. In such cases, whether or not the car's damaged doesn't really matter because by then, the insurance company has already paid the car owner off. Your car may also get a salvage title if it has too many modifications. Since most of the components will be aftermarket parts, they won't fall under the initial maker's guidelines. It doesn't matter whether or not the extra parts are up to code. There's also no guarantee that the parts are high quality, up to regulations, or that they properly fit the car. Insurance providers don't like to take chances, so a heavily modified car is likely to get a salvage label at some point. A car can also get a salvage title due to vandalism. I'm not talking about slashed tires, since that doesn't damage the actual car. I'm referring to things like arson, rolling the car, spray paint, and other damages to the body. So, should you buy a salvage car or not? Well, it really depends. If you're a car enthusiast or mechanic and you enjoy restoring and customizing a car, it could be a fulfilling personal project, especially if you have the time and budget for that kind of hobby. On the other hand, if you're in need of a functioning car, your budget is limited, and you're wondering if you can buy a cheap salvage car and repair it, well, just know there are risks to getting a salvage car. The thing is, you always don't know how the car got damaged. Yes, you can look at the VIN report, but all the dirty details aren't in there. Let's say you buy a salvage car, and sometime along the way, you realize the repairs are costing more than you expected. In other words, you realize it's a money pit, and you want to just stop the repair work and sell the car. Well, just let you know it won't be easy to find anyone who will buy that car. Know, too, that you won't be able to finance a salvage car. Lenders don't like salvage cars because they're well aware of the risks involved. Or let's say you want to flip the car, meaning you're thinking of rebuilding a salvage car in hope of selling it for profit. Now, some people do this, but you'll only win if you accurately assess the repairs needed and if you don't go over budget. But then there's also the other side to it. The reality is, more often than not, it can be difficult to find a buyer for such a car. Despite these risks, let's say you want to buy a salvage car anyway. What should you look for? Put simply, expect to spend considerable time to research and evaluate that car's condition. For starters, verify if the VIN is authentic and accurate. You'll want to make sure you don't see any signs of tampering. Make sure about mismatched VIN plates or altered VIN numbers. Also, use the online VIN check services to get more information about the car's history, like accidents, title issues, and previous ownership records. Look for the details and extent of the damages the car has sustained. This will give you an idea of how many repairs will be needed. Also, see if the car's been in any major accidents. This will impact the value and safety of the car. You'll also want to examine the car's interior. Keep your eyes out for signs of damage, debris, dents, scratches, rust, and mold. Pay attention to the paintwork and make sure it's consistent. See if there's anything missing like headlights, mirrors, and so forth. Don't forget to inspect the tires too. When it comes to reviewing the interior, look for the condition of the upholstery, broken dashboard components, or any missing interior features. It's super important to check for potential water damage or mold growth, and also signs if the car's been flooded. Also look for uneven gaps between panels because that may indicate previous repairs or replacements. But now let's talk about car auctions. Cars get auctions for various reasons. For example, many cars just sit around unsold in the dealer's car lot longer than anticipated. In most cases, the average car dealership doesn't have enough space or time to accommodate a car for too long. So then they sell off the extra cars at car auctions. Car auctions can draw a wider audience of many different types of buyers. This gives dealerships a better chance of offloading any extra inventory. Another reason that a car will pop at an auction is if it has suffered minor or major damages because of accidents or weather conditions, like hail. Car auctions are a way for insurance companies to get some money back to make up for the payment claims they send to customers. Some private owners also prefer to trade in their old cars for another car at a car auction. In other cases, a car owner isn't able to make his or her due payments. So his car gets repossessed by a financial institution, and then they auction off the car to recuperate and get back some of their money. If you're shopping for a car and are considering using a car auction, just note there are some risks to that. First, there are different kinds of auctions. Closed or private auctions are only for car dealerships with a license. That's not for the general public. There are auctions where many of your private car dealers get their vehicles from. Public auctions, on the other hand, are more popular and happen more often too. Public auctions are usually made up of cars that have been repossessed by financial institutions or by insurance companies to get back the money they spent. Government auctions are organized by the customs or other government bodies. These auctions sell off vehicles like trucks, bikes, or cars that have been seized or impounded by government authority overlooking the cars. Last but not least are online auctions. The thing to remember with online auctions is that you really should make sure the posted information is legitimate and accurate. Cars sold at auctions are relatively cheaper if you were to buy the same car from a used car dealer. If you understand the auctioning process, it may be possible to get a good deal. In particular, if you're interested in exotic or vintage cars, typically those can be available for reasonable rates. But here's the thing about car auctions. All bids are binding, all sales are final. So there's no going back. Once you place a bid, you can't retract it. So be sure to understand the process in detail before you head to an auction. In fact, it's recommended to have a professional bidder with you, especially if you're brand new to car auctions. If you go to a brick and mortar dealership or used car dealer right now, car prices are generally high. Right now, the average new vehicle purchase price today is around $48,000. Because of current market conditions, many Americans have stopped going to top-of-the-line cars. They're going for middle trim cars. It's funny and sad at the same time because just a few years ago, consumers were able to find entry-level vehicles with a $15,000 starting price, no problem. But that chapter is over. If you're in search of a ride in $20,000 range, I got some news for you. It won't be easy to find one. Believe it or not, according to one study, the only car model with an average U.S. new vehicle transaction price below $20,000 last July was a Mitsubishi Mirage. Keep in mind, though, that the transaction price doesn't tell the full story. Reason is the transaction price records what average buyer pays. It really depends on a bunch of different factors like markups, promotions by car dealerships, and any add-ons selected by buyers at the time of purchase. Here are 4 practical tips that may help you find a new car for good, inexpensive prices. First, know your budget. Most car buyers rely on monthly payments to gauge how expensive a car is. But it's always best to know your overall budget before you shop using an online car loan calculator. If you don't really know your budget, it'll be hard to know if you're getting a good deal or not. Second, consider looking outside your local market. The wider your search, the more potential inventory you'll find for leverage you'll have against the dealership. Even looking at offers an hour or two away might surprise you with how good a competitive deal you'll find. Now, also get prices in writing before you walk in the door at a dealership. If a dealer refuses to do this, that's a red flag. Pretty much then, they'll try to rip you off one way or another. So don't be duped. Last but not least, don't be quick to settle for the dealer's financing offer. Dealers make a lot of profit by offering interest rates that are higher than normal. Here's the wisest thing to do before you go to the dealership. First, get pre-approved for an auto loan from your local bank, credit union, or online lender. Typically, their offers will be far better than what the dealership will quote you for. Be aware, too, that if your credit score is under 700, it may be harder to qualify for the best available rates at the dealership. If you're in that boat, then getting pre-approved rates from your bank or credit union will especially be useful in providing leverage for a better rate at the dealership. But now, you tell me, have you ever bought a salvage car or car at an auction? If so, what was your experience like? Please share by commenting below. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for your support.